In studio right now is Nicole Siriano, and Nicole is Clinical Director of Outpatient Services, and the name of your, what is it again?
It's Central New York Services Milestones.
Okay, because I don't have that written here, so I have to remember, which I'm not going to do. Anyway, you deal with people that, especially with opiate addiction, and we're talking this morning about how this has become an epidemic in the area. It's very easy to say epidemic, but what does that mean, the word epidemic? And what does it mean to you?
Well, it's...
Because we're throwing it around.
Yeah, everyone uses the word epidemic. Yeah. I think I think when crises happen like this, they go in phases. We've seen this before, but we're here again. And the epidemic is we have, like at least 1 to 2 people dying a day due to this addiction.
Here,
right in Oneida County.
That's incredible.
Yes. In the last 7 weeks, we lost 8 people. So that is, and that's the people that I know and that I serve.
That's got to be hard for you.
Yes, it is.
How many haven't come for help yet? Haven't reached out yet that we don't even know
and
about?
That's the problem. There is so much help that's out there. Like I said, Milestones is one of 4 great outpatient clinics in the area. And we also have, private facilities, private practitioners that are out there, too, to help. So getting the word out, stigma of addiction is very hard for people. But I think the more and more that we talk about it, I think we can start reaching the people that do actually need the help that won't come out and get the help.
All right, so we have a guy that called in yesterday. Before we get done, I want to make sure we do signs.
Yes.
Warning signs for family members. By the way, my mother just had a hip replacement and refused any of the medication. I don't know if she was worried about this but my mother's pretty tough, and I probably would be all over the meds. But wanted to do this without having to and she's succeeded with that. But it's tough. It's tough. The pain, any surgery like that, the pain can be really difficult. So here's a guy. His name is Chuck. And he is telling us that he has had his parental rights terminated because of the mother of his children, which will soon to be his ex-wife. She had a heroin addiction, and he is unable to see the children, he says, as well, because he's testing positive for, what is it called, Andrew? It's
a synthetic marijuana, basically. Synthetic spice. K2
synthetic spice. Mm-hmm. And he's saying, I don't smoke this. I don't intake any of this. It's from maybe Powerade or something else. And there's proof out there that you can test positive if you're consuming other things, such as Powerade. So if this guy's telling the truth, and it's a terrible thing that he can't see his children.
Right.
The big word is the word if.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of things. It depends, I guess, on how you're testing. In-house urine screens have a lot of false positives, so you have to be careful on that.
By the way, he's saying that all of his testing has been urine.
Oh, yeah?
There have been no blood tests or hair tests used for this.
He's saying they're unable to do a test with blood or hair.
Okay. Well,
for that specific drug,
synthetics are very hard to test for. Very hard. Synthetics change on a daily basis because the chemicals are always changing.
Right,
who's manufacturing these are constantly changing this
loopholes.
Up.
They're always finding
always.
Loopholes. Yeah.
So could it possibly be that there is some kind of chemical that was put in? So he's saying he didn't smoke at all.
He's saying he is not.
Okay. You don't really know. It's scary because you don't really know what's being put in this stuff anymore.
Right.
So, yes, stop drinking the Powerade first and see.
Okay, that would be my first move.
That would definitely be that. Yeah, eliminate anything that you're doing on a consistent basis.
I guess that's the point. So he's saying it's Powerade where I'm testing positive. Let's stop the Powerade.
Yes.
And maybe become somebody who's natural. And you're drinking water and things that don't have. I mean, really, my wife has an allergy to high fructose corn syrup. Imagine how difficult that is. But we search, and when we buy anything, we're sitting there looking like idiots, reading the labels. And as I just turned 50, I'm having a hard time with that. Sometimes I have to carry a magnifying glass with me. The printing is very, very small, but I'd like to give you his paperwork.
Yeah.
And could you, if this man is telling the truth, it's possible that you could be an advocate for him?
Oh, absolutely. Like you said, you can go and have blood work done. You also could have a hair follicle test, and if he is petitioning for the rights of his children back, I know the court system does do hair tests. So,
all right.
That definitely are the options for him. But I certainly will take his paperwork
for
him.
Awesome. And is all of his info in there?
I've got his phone number and stuff. But so he's saying that this is the only thing that's stopping him now from getting. This is the last thing that's stopping him from getting his children back. You've probably worked with people in family court before.
Yes.
So is that something you commonly see, that's the one thing that could keep a parent from their child again?
Yeah. If the court wants to see that he's putting forth effort to getting his children back, like coming into treatment and stuff like that, that's a way. That's probably the first step.
He's actually on the line right now. So can we take him?
Sure.
And, let him pipe in here. Chuck,
of course.
Good morning. You're on, and this is Nicole Siriano. I promised you yesterday that we would try to help you out, and you're right here, and you're on with Nicole.
Thank you, Nicole. The specific strain I'm testing positive for.
First of all, I'd ask, could you pull over and pick up the phone safely? We're getting you on speaker, and I can't understand you.
No, actually.
Okay, go ahead and give that a try.
Okay. Can you hear me better?
Yes, much better. Okay, go ahead. You're on with Nicole Siriano.
Okay, the specific strain that I'm testing positive for is 5, F as in Frank, dash P as in Paul, B as in boy, dash 22.
Yeah, can you say that again?
5, F as in Frank, dash P as in Paul, B as in boy, dash 22.
Okay, and you're testing positive for that, and you're saying that you've never smoked synthetic marijuana.
Before.
Go ahead.
The only one.
Go ahead. I didn't hear what you said.
That's the only strain that I'm testing positive for. Now, I get sent to Insight House for random screens, and it gets sent out to NORAD out in Flagstaff, Arizona. Now, I went to the Beacon Center, and I had a counselor there tell me that if you're smoking synthetic or using synthetic, you're going to come up with just more than one strand in your system, not just one.
All right.
And, my mental health provider has given me documentations and signed it that trazodone and Vistarol will also give you false positives. Mm-hmm. And that I've stopped taking that medicine, and stopped drinking the Powerade, and I've been negative. I mean, I got stressed a couple weeks ago or a month ago, and I couldn't sleep, so I took my trazodone and my Vistarol, and I had a positive.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Charles. Charles,
so I threw all that medicine out.
Okay, Charles,
house in the morning.
Can you hear Nicole? She wants to talk to you.
Charles,
yes,
can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Well, your mental health medications that you were prescribed, are those the things that you were saying that you stopped?
Yes.
Okay. On a professional basis, I would tell you never to stop your mental health medications.
Consulting your physician.
Because you could definitely get documentation to back up if something like those medications are making you come up, with a negative, false positive.
I do have documentation. In fact, I dropped the stuff off for Andrew yesterday, so I'm sure they might have it.
Yeah, I'm giving Nicole all of that information.
Yeah, I definitely will be more than happy to help you out as much as I can on this.
Do you have Chuck any past? Is there any in your history past drug abuse?
Not drug abuse, no.
Okay.
I mean, I smoked pot before when I was younger, but I mean, nothing like hard stuff.
Yeah, and you're saying it's your wife, soon to be ex-wife, that was addicted to heroin.
Yes.
And yeah.
Go ahead.
You've been without your kids for 2 years?
Yes.
Okay.
August 1st will be 2 years.
Okay.
Wow.
And do you have what do you do for a living? Do you have the means to get a good attorney and to get what do you do, Chuck?
Well, I do plumbing work, but I can't afford a lawyer. I have a public defender that keeps his tail between his legs and doesn't do nothing.
Okay. So you've not been able to hire an attorney. You're using a public defender.
Correct.
Okay.
All the documentation I brought forth to the court is admissible to court. They don't want to hear nothing.
Okay.
They're relying on a test that, some people, that are innocent, they get sent away to prison for years for doing something they didn't do. Come to find out that the test was incorrect.
Yeah. All right.
Well, some of these things that we've seen, unfortunately, Charles, this happens, and it's kind of like and I'm not saying this to you, I'm saying this just as a general statement. It's like the boy who cried wolf. Like, we've heard it so many times. So you have to understand where people are coming from.
Surely.
Especially the court
I totally
system.
Understand that. And I tell the woman at Insta House, I'm not mad at them. Me and them are just the middle people. Right.
I do want to applaud you, though, for continuing to advocate for yourself, because if you truly, truly, truly believe that this was a negative thing, then you continue to fight for what you deserve, and that is your children. That is for your children. So,
and that's why listen. Chuck, I don't mean to. I'm just a radio person, and I've heard stories like this that turned out to be much more to the story. We always say, well, there's a lot more to that story, and there might be in this case, but at the very least, if there's a potential that it's true, and there's somebody who's really being wronged, and his children have to be split up to 4 different households, is there somebody out there that can help? And we're hoping that's you.
Yeah. If there's anyone that can, definitely is me.
All right.
So I'd be more than happy to help him with that.
All right, Chuck. We're gonna. Andrew will be in touch, but Nicole will be in touch as well, and let's see what can come of this. Okay.
Okay. You can give her my number, Bill.
We will give her your number. Yep.
All right. I'll wait to hear from you, Nicole. I appreciate it.
No problem. Good luck,
Chuck. I hope to God you're telling the truth. And
Bill, I am. My kids are more important than anything in the world.
Well, I appreciate that, and I feel the same way about my children. So, all right, Chuck, thanks so much. We'll be in touch, okay?
All right, thank you.
All right. Okay, Nicole, we don't have to say any more about Chuck. We'll just hand this over to you, and you're the professional, and I'm not. But I do want to leave with this one thing.
Yes.
And that is the warning signs.
Yeah, I mean, when you have that feeling, and parents out there that are listening will understand what I mean. When you have that one feeling that that something is just not right, talking to your kid is probably the most important. Not accusing, but just sitting down and talking to them. With the family support group that we have, we've been able to teach parents a lot of different coping mechanisms and how to speak to your children and all of that. I guess it's just the, if things come up missing, if your kids are asking for money and, you're not seeing that they've gotten that haircut that they said that they were supposed to.
Right.
There's little tiny things like that are really overlooked a lot.
Easy to, a busy world.
And it really is. Yeah. It really is. But like I said, the parents I've spoken to, it was those little tiny things. They saw it, but they didn't register until it was too late. And I'm not saying that everyone should go home and start looking and really, really making this a big thing. But there is help out there.
Get rid of the stuff that is in your medicine cabinet.
Get rid of all the stuff that's in your medicine cabinets, for sure. If you go to the doctors, advocate for yourself. You definitely do not need anything that's not needed to be prescribed. It's not the doctor's fault neither. They're really not that educated when it comes to addiction.
Sure.
But I do want to mention that we are having our second annual Stomp Out the Stigma Walk, which is August 13th, right at our building at 502 Court Street.
And the stigma being, well, you have this image in your head of a heroin addict.
Yes.
And it is completely changed.
It is completely changed.
Yeah. So that event, how do people get involved in that, by the way?
They could email myself at nciriano@cnyservices.org, or they could contact Milestones at 315-507-5800. It's free. We have a lot of fun things that are going to be going on. We have some food at the end and some refreshments. And then we also are going to have a butterfly release for those that we have lost to addiction. At the end of that, yeah.
And if you didn't hear earlier, how many in the last
8 in the last 7 weeks?
8 in the last 7 weeks.
Yeah.
Clients that you work with,
yes,
have passed away.
Yes,
due to this addiction.
Correct.
Terrible. And these are just regular people.
Regular people.
Yeah. All right. I am so glad, first of all, that Chuck called because maybe we can get him help. It also inspired us to get you on.
Yeah.
And let's not make this the last time. I think this is really big, really important.
Yeah. I'd be happy to come back anytime.
When I go home, I'm cleaning out my medicine cabinet.
Yes. Thank you.
I'm doing that today. All right. Good stuff. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Is it related? We'll do one more. Yes. Greg, go ahead. I'll squeeze you in here before we get done. Nicole Siriano is in here from CNY Milestones. Good morning, Greg.
Hey, Bill. Miss, I tell you, I broke my neck 15 years ago, and I'd much rather have been prescribed heroin than methadone. Mm-hmm. The heroin is so much easier to get off than the methadone.
Are you saying that you...
And I'm saying this from experience from a lot of friends and, doctors. The methadone, if you look it up in the computer, is called the most hideous drug made by man. Mm-hmm. To get off. It can take years, from what I understand, to get off it. I've gone from 18 to 2, and it's taken me almost 3 years.
So you were on methadone. Were you ever on heroin?
Yes.
Okay. And methadone is what they're giving you to prevent the heroin abuse?
No. I got off the heroin, and I broke my neck, and the pain was really bad. And they started me out on a couple methadone a day.
Okay. Yep.
And within 8-9 years, I was up to almost 20 a day. And it's taken me 3 years to get down to 2, and it's just hideous.
Yeah, Greg?
Yes.
Yeah, I used to actually work in a methadone clinic when I first started out in the field 14 years ago, so I do understand what you're talking about. Since then, there's so many different other options out there.
I know. I that's what I understand, because anybody out there now that if they break their neck or break their whatever in the next few months, days, hours, when they offer you any kind of opiate, as hard as it may be, say no.
Yeah, it's really good to hear somebody who actually feels
because,
that way.
It really helps the first few months to a year, even 2 years. But then you have to take it just to be normal.
Yeah.
It's not that you're, still getting the relief. Without it, you feel 10 times worse.
So
including the pain.
Right.
But I'd rather just live with the pain instead of also, having the lows of not having the drug. It's just a horrible way to live.
Is there any option for Greg to get assistance in what he's trying to do? It sounds like he's trying to do this on his own.
Yeah. Are you?
No. I'm doing this through I'm doing this through the VA, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You
could definitely ask them when you're off of it. I mean, one of the great options out there today is the Vivitrol shot, which is a 30-day medication that's a non-narcotic that people are loving.
This is my 15th year on the methadone, and
wow.
I hope to be at 0 at Christmas.
Well, I wish you all the best of luck, because it's very hard. So good for you for, again, advocating for yourself and knowing exactly what you want.
Oh, it's very, very tough to go into your doctor and say, take me down from 18 to 16.
Yeah.
And then 16 to 14, and, it's 3 years.
Greg, the fact that you've shared your story here is huge. Mm-hmm. And so I hope you have a great story to share at Christmas time, and we'll all celebrate.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I listen to you every day.
Thanks, Greg.
Bye-bye.
That's pretty big. And I guess I didn't understand so when the methadone, I guess I didn't understand
methadone
that it was addictive as well.
Methadone's very addictive. You know, Suboxone's very addictive. All those alternative medications are, you know, but they weren't really designed for a long term. But it, like he said, it's very hard.
Yeah.
Once you go on, you know, you're pretty much substituting, you know, the opiate for a synthetic opiate, an alternative. Right. So it is very hard. But if you use the medication for a short, brief period of time, just like if you were to go to the doctor and get a 5-day supply of hydros, you know, it's that same concept. There is healthier alternatives too out there today.
Right.
Yeah.
So you got to be your own advocate. You got to really do investigating. But, you know, the pain can be just... I remember I had a back issue, and my chiropractor explained to me that that in some cases people commit suicide over the pain.
Yeah.
They can't get rid of the pain, and it just becomes unbearable.
Yeah, they feel like they're going to die.
Yeah.
You know, and they just say, I'd rather just die.
This is it. I can't live like this anymore. So, yeah, boy.
Well, just so everyone knows, there is hope and there is help out there. Like I said. So if anybody needs to reach out, they can contact Milestones at 315-507-5800, and I'd be happy to help anybody that needs.
Glad we took Greg's call.
Me too.
Yeah. Nicole, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Got a break.